Academy, the house of creativity. So today we'll be listening to a very wonderful student, Ashake Kashimawo. She just graduated from DivasWrld Academy a few days back, and today she'll be presenting a couple of things she has learned. But before we dive into that, what is DivasWrld Academy about? So this is a training marketing community that we help empower youth, we help empower our audiences, we help empower business owners and everybody in general together. If you're the type of person that wants to learn a digital marketing skill, it can be social media marketing, it can be content creation, content writing, copywriting. You just want to start, you don't have any knowledge, you don't have the basic foundation, you don't have anything, you don't know anything about it. Diva's World is that place for you. With that being said, we'll go straight into it. So Ashake will be starting with her social media management presentation. Ashake, you have the floor.
Hi everyone, welcome and thank you for joining. My name is Ashake, a social media manager and strategist at DivasWrld Academy. I'm here to present my final project on social media management and branding. We're going to start with social media management, and the task given to us was for us to come up with a social media strategy for an already existing brand. And today I'll be walking you through the strategy I developed for a wine brand called That Wine Babe. I'll be showing you how I approached the brand, how I defined the target audience, and the strategies I put in place to help the brand grow and connect better with their audience. So we'll be starting with the brand overview. Yeah. So firstly, I did not just see That Wine Babe as a page that sells wine. I looked at the brand and I was able to tell that the brand creates a whole new experience for their audience. In this strategy, I decided to position That Wine Babe as a lifestyle driven brand rather than just a product based page. The idea here was to shift the perception of wine from something complex to something relatable and a part of everyday experiences for their audience. I focused on using storytelling and personality led content to build a brand identity, emotionally connect with the audience, and also build a strong community around that brand. That way, the brand is not only able to connect emotionally with its audience, which is also very important, but it also builds a form of loyalty instead of just one time buyers. That will be all for the brand overview. Now we'll talk about the target audience. In order for the brand to fully understand their target audience, I focused on two major things, which are audience research and audience profiling. I helped the brand to break down how they can identify their exact target audience using demographics, psychographics, and the behavioral patterns of the audience. I also included something called competitor analysis, and I identified the audience pain points. So by doing this, the brand can simply create content that is more targeted, relevant, and also conversion driven. What this basically means is that I went beyond just the basic demographics and I looked into their lifestyle, their interests, and also their behaviors online. I considered the kind of content they already consume, things like soft life content. In this time and era, everybody is in their soft life era. I also considered self care routines and other relatable daily experiences. I got to identify their pain points. Like, okay, now let's talk about the platforms. For choosing the right platforms, I emphasized on two major things. platform positioning, and content platform fit. I guided the brand to focus on platforms that support visual content and eye engaging content, especially for storytelling and discovery. So when choosing platforms, it's best for the brand to focus more on where this type of content naturally performs best. Like I said earlier, the brand relies heavily on visuals, storytelling, and short form videos. Considering that, would say platforms like TikTok and Instagram are the most effective for reach and for engagement. I also put into consideration how these platforms can support discoverability through algorithms, trends, and hashtags. The idea behind this is simply to maximize reach, visibility, and engagement by showing up on these platforms where their audiences are most active. So, now we'll talk about the content strategy. For the content strategy, I focused majorly on growth. So, here I built a content strategy that is hammering on consistency and structure, because consistency without structure is purely a waste of time, strength, energy, everything you can think of. I created a balance between education, entertainment, and relatability. The idea behind this was simply to make the content valuable but still enjoyable to consume, because it's not all the time audiences are out for, you know, educational content. Most of the time, they're out for entertainment and relatability as well. I also introduced content pillars and series based content to improve consistency and also to help the audience know what to expect from the brand, from the page. For example, where I mentioned wine tips, beginner wine tips, this particular content is going to build a certain level of authority for the brand, while relatable wine moments would, on the other hand, it would increase engagement and shareability. And if you are social media, if you're conversant with how social media works, you will know that content that the audience tend to perform far better than content with more likes. So with this mix, I've ensured that the brand will not just be informative, but it will also be memorable and engaging over time. For I think that will be all for the content strategy. Okay, this is the weekly content calendar. For the calendar, I created a structured posting system, and I did this to ensure consistency and content balance. Each day is aligned with specific content goals. Monday and Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday is for educational purposes, because we know the week always starts off with something. Mondays are always for serious businesses, so it's best to put educational content on Monday. We also have entertaining and community driven content. For lifestyle and entertainment, Wednesday to Friday is the most suitable to place that, while for Saturday and Sunday is to build a community, not just posting and letting random people like. Everybody that comes across the content would know that there is a certain structure behind this type of content, and this structure would help to maintain a steady content flow and also help the brand to stay organized and avoid posting randomly, which can also affect the growth of the brand. Overall, I helped the brand Overall, this would help the brand to stay organized and to avoid random posting. It would ensure consistency, which is very important and valuable for both audience retention and something called algorithm performance. That is how well your content performs onto the sample post and content types. So in this section, I outlined a content mix strategy. I included educational, entertaining, promotional, and interactive content. By combining these four content types, That Wine Babe is able to serve different content objectives at once, from Okay, so now we're talking about the growth strategy I came up for that line beam. The growth strategy I focused on organic growth. I'm doing this by improving visibility and engagement. The major use
Okay, so I think she's having some internet issues.
Can you hear me now?
Ashake, are you
Yes, I can
here?
hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, please continue. I'm so sorry. We couldn't hear you earlier on.
All right.
So you were at what slide?
I was explaining the growth strategy.
Okay, okay. You have the floor.
All right. So I said for the growth strategy, I focused on organic growth by improving visibility and engagement. The key approach I introduced is something called a content series. I introduced this because this encourages people to come back for more, and it also improves searchability on, especially on platforms like TikTok. I emphasized engaging with the audience through comments and creating content from their responses. This helps to build a stronger community. Additionally, using relatable storytelling and behind the scene content would make the brand feel more human, and this increases trust and connection. Overall, the brand already has a strong foundation in terms of content direction and identity. What I did was to refine and structure the strategy to make it more consistent and growth focused. With the right execution, I mean consistency, engaging content, active audience interaction, the brand has a stronger potential to grow its reach, build authority in its niche, and also create a loyal community over time. Thank you.
Wow, that was really impressive. I like that. And most especially, I would want to contribute to what you said about your content calendar. Yes, I totally agree with you because on weekends, after church service, we have a group of family that they like to go to the restaurant and then have like a buffet. Have you seen such things online?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I
So
have.
imagine if you have a winery, right? Or you have a restaurant
Yeah,
where they sell wines and stuff, and I go there to try out wine on Sunday, just have nice lunch, because if you sell wine, you're not just going to only sell wine, you're going to sell wine and food. So I'm going to be there, I'm going to have great wine, and you can educate me on the wine every Sunday as well. In
yeah,
after church service, I just want to learn something new. I want to try out great food, and I want to know what I'm trying out. Is basically the same way somebody will tell you, "Oh, have you tried this spaghetti?" Or you ask them, "What's the best thing on your menu?" And then they tell you, "Oh, the best thing we have on our menu is maybe fried squid or um Thailand noodles, something." Then you tell them, "Oh, I want to try that." And they tell you it goes best with this wine. And this wine, why it
yeah,
goes best with this wine is because this and this and this. This wine was fermented for 30 something years. 30 something years. And yes, it's amazing. It tastes very different. I would say, okay, let me go for it. At least it's quite affordable, Abby. You ask them so that you no go and use all your money to save yourself at the restaurant. So you ask them, "Oh, okay, how much is that? Oh, per glass is this so amount? Oh, thank you. I would have like a glass." And then they serve you, and you're tasting the wine, and it's like, "Oh, it's nice." And then you have another glass. So it's actually very good. And then you have like the Wednesday to Fridays, which is for entertainment and lifestyle. Lifestyle people, they go to the club, everybody wants to try new things. It's a hectic week, especially when it's
mhm,
salary period, like next week. So if you're a vendor, if you're a client and you're watching this and you need a calendar that can be tailored according to what your brand needs, this is what you should go for. This kind of strategy is what you should go for. I'm quite impressed because this is it's giving intentionality. You're being intentional about the kind of content you want to create. And like she said, your content to post, we have educational, entertaining, promotional, and interactive. If your content don't have any of these four pillars, you're not doing well. Your content is not going to do well. If your content is not educating, if it's not entertaining or promoting and being interactive, it's not going to do well, because people want to have something to say at the end of the day. People have an opinion as to if they like the content or not. So if you're not giving them that platform, that's opened book to be opinionate or to have their opinion,
Yeah.
right? They won't comment.
Mm-hmm.
Your video will not go viral. You won't have the engagement you're looking for. That's some people just come online to rage bait on purpose. They'll just rage bait you. They know that that thing will get you to talk, will get you to say something under their video. So they will come and do it on purpose just to go viral. There are some people that pay for a scandal just to go viral, have something to say about me. So if you're not giving people something to say about your brand, if you're not entertaining them, if you're not telling them things about the brand, if you're not promoting something to them that they need, because most people don't know that they need it until they see it, you know, they would not buy
Yeah.
from you. So
Yeah.
I'm really impressed, Ashake. So I have a couple of
Thank
questions
you.
for you. Are you ready to answer?
Okay.
So for your growth
Yes, I
strategy,
am.
So for your growth strategy, you like you said
Yeah.
TikTok discovery by creating recurring series like wine for beginners. You know, most of the time people get bored of some certain things that they're seeing over and over again. So is there a way you can spice it up? Do you get me? Do you understand my question?
Yes, I think I do.
Okay.
All right. So for
We're listening. We can hear you. Please go on.
can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
All right. So I was saying for improving the content series, it will not just be the same thing over and over again. Okay, let's take the wine recommendation series for an example. If for the wine recommendation, we could do it every every um every Wednesdays of the week. On Thursday, another wine series. On Friday, another wine series. So there's going to be varieties, and it will not just be the same thing from different series. It's going to be a mix of different wine series. There are so many things, so many so many so many subordinates under wine that would work very well for the series. And over time it's going to get better, even if it's to an end.
Oh, okay. That's actually
The
very
I'm
nice
going to make
because
sure.
switching up.
Okay.
Yes, I understood your answer. Don't worry. Switching up things when creating a series is quite interesting because people don't know the next thing you're going to talk about under the same series. I can come and tell
Yeah.
you, oh, this is a platform where we talk about money every. Okay, we do have a platform on YouTube where we talk about money every Monday, and every Monday it was a new topic, new interest, new things. We are advising you on something very different from the last time. Do you understand? So, yes, switching up
Yeah, I
things,
do.
but still maintaining the series. And with over time, it's going
Yeah,
to grow, it's
exactly.
going to expand. I like that. I like that. So, we are going to move on to your next presentation. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so for Ashake's next presentation, we are going to be talking about branding. She has taken her time to create a specific branding positioning, the visual representation of a brand, how she's going to position a brand. If she was your social media manager, your social media strategist, if she comes into your business life, what she's going to do and how she's going to position your brand. So, Ashake, you have the floor. Please take it away.
Okay, like Miss Diva said, for this course, the task was for us to create a brand from scratch, and we are creating the visual identities of the brand. Visual identities are basically the things that the audience is going to see. Like when the audience sees this stuff outside your brand, they would always associate it with your brand. Examples of visual identities are colors, the brand color, the typography, and also the font and the logo. So for this project, I decided to design a perfume brand because personally, I've always seen fragrances as more than just a product. If you know me, you know I consider fragrances an experience. So for this project, I named the brand Jolie Perfume. Jolie is a French word that simply means pretty. It describes something as pretty, it describes it as beautiful. And that is why I chose the name, because it perfectly reflects the essence of the brand. I wanted a name that feels very soft, feminine, and also very memorable. For the logo, this logo design, I created a JP monogram. JP stands for Jolie Perfumes. That's the I created a JP monogram. The letter J is overlaying the letter P, and this logo design helps me to keep the logo minimal and very easy to recognize. I also added this overlapping style to add a sense of unity and sophistication to show the luxury of the brand. Now, moving on to the color palette. For the color palette, I selected four main colors: soft ivory, rose gold, plum, and blush pink. For soft ivory is basically the foundation of Jolie perfumes. It's the background, and I use this because it's a very clean and minimal color. For the rose gold, it adds a touch of warmth and sophistication, like it represents a form of luxury in a very subtle modern way. For the plum, is also considered berry. This one helps to introduce a depth of a it reflects a certain level of confidence and mystery, and these are key emotions associated with fragrance if you're very conversant with fragrance. And for the blush pink, I added this to balance out the palette. This one is a very soft and feminine shade of pink that makes the brand more visually appealing and relatable. Overall, the color palette creates a brand that feels elegant, feminine, and slightly mysterious. Now, onto the typography. Okay, I selected four major font types. I selected Playfair Display, Montserrat, New Icon, and Halimam. These were not chosen randomly. I carefully selected these four fonts. For Playfair and Montserrat, these are going to be the major fonts. They are going to be the headings and the brand identity, because of it has this kind of luxurious and elegant feeling, and that is basically what the brand represents. For the new icon and Alimam, these ones are basically supporting fonts because they are also very clean fonts. They also look very modern, and these ones are supporting fonts because they are very easy to read. Together, these four fonts create a balance between luxury, simplicity, and making the brand feel both premium and accessible. We were also asked to create two sample posts. For this sample post, I focused on creating content that is minimal and also very aesthetically pleasing because the goal of the brand is to ensure that the goal of the content rather is to ensure that every post reflects the brand identity. So for this first post, I used the visual idea for this first post is to use a use Jolie's sleek perfume bottle and place it on a very soft neutral background with the blush pink color. I'm also going to include very soft and subtle light and make use of sleek fabrics to create a level of depth. Then for the caption is not going to the caption is not just a random caption. For the caption in this particular post focuses more on emotions and experiences rather than just selling the products to the audience. The caption is going to emphasize the fragrance that is not just something you wear randomly because most people just think perfumes are just something you put on for putting on sake. But with this caption is going to convince the audience that it is something that also creates a lasting impression and a presence. While for the second post, okay, now moving on to the flyer. I designed a flyer for Jolie Perfume. The flyer is introducing a new perfume collection. Although it's a new brand, and considering the fact that it's a new brand, there are going to the intention behind this is to not to release all the bottles available at once, but to introduce it steady, one after the other. So after the launch, the flyer comes in, and this flyer is going to introduce a new perfume collection. For this flyer, I used a clean layout. I used soft colors and minimal text to communicate of the the message of the perfume brand effectively. For this, with this flyer, the goal was simply to create a form of excitement in the mind of the audience because by seeing this new collection, they are definitely going to be anticipating more collections from the brand. By doing this, I'm also maintaining the brand's refined and luxurious aesthetics. And lastly, for the billboard mockup, this particular billboard mockup, I created a design that is simple but very attention grabbing. Imagine you're going on the road and you see a perfume that says 50% off. That message is going to stick to you as as an audience, and you would the chances of you being interested in that kind of sale is very high. I use this to quickly capture attention, but the design still remains very clean, simply to maintain the brand's elegance. This also shows how you can use promotional content and also align that with your brand identity. In conclusion, I'd like to say that Jolie Perfume is a brand that I created that combines the use of femininity and modern luxury. Every single element, from the name to the color palette to the typography to the visual content, every single thing was carefully selected to create a cohesive and emotionally engaging brand identity. The major goal of the brand is not just to sell fragrances, and I'll say this over and over again, but is to create an experience in the mind of the customers that people can connect with and remember for a long period. Thank you.
That was a brilliant one. I'm really impressed. I wouldn't lie, because now this it feels very intentional, from the color palette to your font to the flyer and also the billboard sample. It just shows that you took a lot
Thank
of
you.
time to create it, and the fact that it doesn't exist, but this is something that can be brought to life. If you're a client or you are a business owner and you've thought about creating that business, but you don't know how to start, this is actually how you start. You start with your brand positioning. How do you want to position your brand? What is the intent? Do I want my customers or my client to smell soft, to smell sweet? Do I want them to smell elegant? Do I want them to smell bold, confident? There are perfumes that smells like that. That's their They give that aura. When you use such perfume, you just know that, nah, I'm not meant for small things. And to be honest, that is the kind of content you have created for your presentation, and I'm really impressed. The JP logo is something that feels very simple, but at the same time has a deep meaning to it. The fact that it's French, correct me if I'm wrong. How do you pronounce the name? Jolie. Okay. So create imagine having to create your own idea. This is actually very nice. Like, it shows that it's very nice. It shows that you took your time to over your assessment. You knew what you wanted. You knew what you were going for, and I'm really impressed. If you want to be the next big thing in social media marketing, in social media management, this is that space for you. If you've seen her work and you're so impressed, you can reach out to DivasWrld Agency and we will get you across to our Ashaks. But if you want to reach out to her personally, yeah, you still have to go through us. You cannot say her behind our back. And if you want to be that person that also wants to have this skill, you want to be able to speak like this for your brand, you want to be able to create this kind of content for that business idea that you've had in like forever, please, this is your opportunity. The next cohort training, though we ended, but we are looking at extending the registration to the ending of March, which is going to be next 2 weeks. I don't consider this week a week anymore. So that's going to be next week, Tuesday. That's the 31st. That would be the ending of the registration. If you know anyone that this class is going to benefit, if you know anyone that this training is going to help elevate or add more value to them or make a very positive impact in their lives, please and please tell them to join the academy today. And if you're a student and you're watching this right now, they can use your student code to register to get a discount off. Or when Ashake posts her video on TikTok, go on that video to comment congratulations and let us know when you do that with a screenshot, and you get 15% off your next registration fee. Thank you so much for watching this presentation. I am really impressed. I'm not going to even, I don't want to lie. I like saying that. I don't want to lie. I'm really impressed by Ashake's work. I'm really impressed. I love the fact that she took her time to implement. In Diva's world, we can train, we can motivate. That's what we do. But implementation is on you. You are the only one that can take that step. If you go through her page, she's one of our best students for January. She is our best student for January to match cohort, social media management, skill um, set, like their department. Yes, she's the best. I'm not even, let me not even start capping on life. So you can go through her page to see that drastic level of growth she has had. And you can only have this growth if you're determined and disciplined. Because I knew how she started and I knew where she has gotten to. And right now, I can say we are really, really proud of her. So if you're that brand and you're watching and you want to work with her, reach out to us because I know you are also impressed as well. Thank you so much for joining our live. Oh, okay. We have a comment. We are going to take one comment. So, Miss Victoria Judge Experience said, and the bottle design, the female silhouette is amazing. I love it. Ashake, what do you think about this? This is Victoria from Valora. Do you know that? Th- I'm impressed as well, Miss Victoria. We're all happy. Oh, Ashake to the world. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful for everyone joining. We've come to the end of this live. If you have any question for Ashake, you can leave it in our comment section on YouTube. We're going to go over it and she's going to create a response video, or she's going to go live another time when she's ready and then give you guys a response. Ashake, will you do that or you want? Ashake says she'll do that, right? We have a message from Miss Tomology, Tomology 7555. She said she is good. This is nice. I'm really impressed. Ashake, you should be proud of yourself. Thank you so much for joining. I'm really glad
Thank
that you all
you.
did. Have a wonderful weekend and see you guys when next we are going to be live. Thank you for watching the DivasWrld Academy podcast, the house of creativity. Bye bye.
Bye.